Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's me, just another sim guy here, and today I want to talk about the reality of being a content creator stroke streamer and the ups and downs, the challenges, why I do it, why I continue to do it, when I've considered not doing it anymore. I've been wanting to do this video for a while now, and as I've now been active on YouTube for almost exactly 6 months, it feels like a good time to get my thoughts down, share them with people, and hopefully if you're either thinking about becoming a content creator or doing some video stuff and streaming stuff on YouTube, this will help you. You might well have started, be early in your journey, and if so, you're probably in the same boat. A lot of this is pretty common stuff. If you're more experienced and you've stumbled across this video because you're looking for some hints and tips, I might not be able to help you depending on how much experience you've got, but do offer your valuable feedback in the comments, and it will help other people in the same space learn from your experiences, and hopefully some of this stuff will resonate with you as things that you've been through already. And if you can tell us how you got out the other side of it, myself and I know a lot of other people would appreciate it. This is going to be pretty raw. It's my honest experiences. Stick around and be active in the comments. Don't be afraid to ask questions, point out things that I might have missed, and share your own experiences. It is broken down into sections. I don't want to make the intro too long. Obviously I'm coming at this from a YouTube perspective because that's what I stream and share on, and I'm in the sim racing space, but I know that these things are common across all sort of creative challenges. So it's not just about YouTube, it's not just about sim racing. Hopefully no matter where you are, what you're doing, or what you're thinking of doing, there's something here that will help you on your journey. So without further ado, let's stop wasting time and let's get on with the video. Now, I think that being a content creator and being a streamer is probably one of the most exciting things you could ever decide to do. It's also probably one of the most difficult to master. It's not what people think. You don't just hit a button, hit record, and boom, instant success. There's things that you have to take into account. Sometimes you'll be editing all night. Sometimes you'll be talking to an empty chat. Sometimes you'll have to fill the void of where you go when you don't get any subscribers. It's an emotional journey. It's not what you think, and depending on your mindset and how much of a perfectionist you are, you'll find yourself getting drawn into lots and lots of different things that you just can't live with if they're not 100% right. The first thing I want to talk about is the early excitement, and when you first start out as a streamer or a YouTuber, it feels like you've just opened the door to a whole new world. For me, it was a chance for me to sort of emulate and take inspiration from a lot of the channels that I've been watching, but with my own vision and put my own little spin on it. I wanted to be authentic, I wanted to share my passion, I wanted things to be bigger than just me sitting at my computer. The first upload is amazing. You hit publish and then you go back to your channel and you refresh the page a million times because you want to see how many people are looking at your stuff. You share it on Facebook, you stick it on Discord, you tell your best mate, you get your parents to have a look. I mean, you know, you just want everybody to share in your passion and to see that what you get fun out of, and you want to share your thoughts and your insights, and there's nothing better than that. You know, you're making yourself really vulnerable. There's that rush of seeing your gameplay and seeing your stream sort of shared with the world, and you just think to yourself, yeah, I'm doing it now. But in your imagination, you imagine the chats filling up and likes going through the roof and people sharing it, and then all of a sudden you've got loads of subscribers, and you think it's, you know, it might be quicker than reality, but very quickly reality does set in, and especially in those first early days, it can't always be what you expected it to be. To start off with, it feels amazing. The excitement gets you hooked and you can't wait to do your next video, but you've got to be careful when the numbers don't match your expectations. Okay, so the honeymoon phase is over. You've got that rush of excitement, and then you hit what we can call some sort of wall, the wall of reality. What people don't tell you when you start out is that you can spend a very long time editing, recording, getting things right. You upload, you get your titles done, you spend time on a thumbnail, and then you look back and you've got 5 views, and 2 of those were you checking it yourself, and 1 to your girlfriend that you made her sit and watch. So yeah, not great. The video is processed. Streaming isn't much different. You know, you can sometimes sit there for an hour or two pouring energy into your gameplay, you're talking, and you look at the window and the window's empty. And you start to think, I'm sat here talking to myself. Is anyone actually out there? Is what I'm doing valuable? Is people gonna like it? Have I got anything interesting to say, or am I just another one in a long list of people doing the same sort of thing? You know, how am I gonna make my mark here? The reality is, yes, you have been sat there talking to yourself, and people did dip in and dip back out. But that's just the way it goes. Also, there's, you know, the amount of time that goes into editing. I don't think people always really appreciate that. Then you've got the YouTube algorithm. You start Googling how to beat the algorithm. It's like it's some sort of boss fight. You look at SEO, you look at thumbnails, you look at tags. It becomes a weird obsession, and you think you've cracked the code, and then you're looking at your analytics, and they're just flatlined. Then you start reaching out to other YouTube videos and other YouTube experts and trying to put those things into place, and then you realize that a lot of them contradict with each other, or sometimes they're out of date and YouTube's just done an update. So it's a constant back and forth, and it can get emotional. You know, you put yourself into making the content, and when the numbers don't reflect the effort, you start questioning yourself. There's no doubt. You know, is the content good enough? Am I good enough? Am I interesting? Is it worth keeping going? But every single content creator and every single streamer is going to go through this, unless you're extremely lucky and you hit something just at the right time. These aren't signs that you're failing, but they're proof that you're on the journey. You're on the grind. You can push through this, and understanding that when you push through it, that's how you start to grow. That's not a content creator mindset. That's just a life learning mindset. So that can really help. And then there's the emotional roller coaster part. So this is the crazy thing. Being a content creator isn't just about uploading videos and creating videos and streaming. It's about managing your emotions, because honestly, it feels like you're just strapped into the craziest roller coaster from one day to the next. One day you can be on top of the world. You get a comment by someone that really touches you. It says, "Oh, I love your content. Keep going. This is great. I love your honesty." Or someone subscribes midstream and you're buzzing, and it feels like confirmation that yes, I'm doing something right. And then your imagination can take you away. What am I going to do next? You know, how are things going to look in a few months? Oh my God, I'm on the journey. I'm going to just get to 500 and 1,000 likes and 500 and 1,000 subscribers within no time. It's obviously going quite right. And then the next day you upload what you thought was your best video, and you get like 10 views. No comments, no likes. No one's really doing anything. The analytics are flat. And then you just think to yourself, I might as well just delete this now. Why do I even bother putting in this amount of effort? You know, I've spent another evening where I haven't seen my family, or I've spent another late night that I've spent editing, and no one's really even looking. Sometimes it's the smallest things that hit way harder than they should. Like a random dislike feels like a personal attack, or someone's comment that says great video as you smiling like an idiot for the rest of the day. It really can be that up and down, and sometimes these things can happen in the same day itself. The truth is, the content creation is emotional because it's personal, and you're putting your thoughts and your feelings and your views out there, and you're making yourself vulnerable. This means that every view is personal, and every comment that doesn't agree with you can feel personal. Because it feels like these numbers and this data that you're looking at is tied into your self-worth, and somehow has to reflect the effort that you've put in. But unfortunately, that isn't always going to correlate. You know, these emotions are quite messy, but they also keep you alive as a content creator. The highs remind you why you started, and the lows are just, if nothing else, they're teaching you some resilience, and perhaps they are a sign that you need to get better, you need to experiment, and you need to do something differently. But isn't that the roller coaster ride that makes the whole content creation journey worth it? I think that is. And now I want to talk about some things that I've learned along the way. Okay, so after the highs and the lows and the late night editing marathons, what have I actually learned? Well, quite a lot, really. When you're just starting out, there are some lessons that might save you from banging your head against a brick wall like I did. And some of it is not only going to save you time, but also save you some of the ups and downs of the emotions. First of all, consistency will beat perfection. Now, when you're new, you want everything to be flawless. You want the mic to sound flawless. You want the gameplay to be amazing, the video quality to be great. But chasing perfection will slow you down. And no matter what you do, you're going to look back at some of your early videos And I look at mine and think, what was I thinking? There's no titles, there's no this, there's no that. It's ropey. I'm in VR, so that sort of heads up a whole new bank of challenges to get that looking decent. But you have to just get out there. You have to start, and then you have to start learning by doing. I think that's my sort of first thing. Don't just go for perfection. Try and just be consistent with the uploading and try and build an audience slowly. The content will sell itself. The presentation you can improve. Perfection can come later, but consistency is what's going to grow you and get you across to your audience. The second thing, and one of the biggest things, don't obsess over the numbers. It's so easy to fall into the trap of just refreshing your analytics every 10 seconds, checking on views, checking on likes, answering comments, checking on subs, asking people to sub, asking people to like, posting it on Facebook and asking people to share. But the numbers do not define your worth. Focus on the community and focus on the people that are showing up. If only 5 people show up to watch your stream, great. That means you can talk to all 5 of them and have a really sort of personal conversation. That's still an audience. You would much rather have that than people that don't want to engage. So the numbers don't always reflect the value. And treat your audience with the same respect as you would no matter how big they are. Even if 2 people turn up to watch your stream, that's value. Third is really the community is everything. Growth isn't just about shouting until someone hears you. You have to engage with your audience. So what you do has to be honest, has to be authentic, and has to be true to you. So I try and keep all of my stuff completely genuine, and I think that comes across. And it might well mean that you're not going to grow the quickest, but at least you're keeping true to yourself and your values. And people appreciate it. I think when you show up consistently and you're being honest and you're being yourself, then the people that appreciate you, those are the sort of audience that you want. And that's the sort of audience that I want anyway. I'd rather have a smaller audience by being genuinely me than try and pretend to be something I'm not and have a nice big audience but have to put some sort of act on every time I'm in a stream. I don't think that's sustainable myself. So yeah, that brings me on to my next point about just being yourself. It is a bit of a cliche, but whilst you can take inspiration from big streamers and YouTubers, you still have to do it in a way that defines you and why you're different. So lean into your quirks, have some humour. Don't worry if you make mistakes. Especially when you're new. People like that. It's real. You want people to connect with you, and there's only one way to do that. And as it is in real life, be yourself, be genuine. The next one I would say is learn as you go. Don't be afraid to keep tweaking the way you do stuff. Don't be so determined that you're definitely doing something right and it's YouTube's fault that you're not getting the views, and it's the algorithm's fault that people aren't finding your stuff or recommending your videos. The first few videos might be a bit rough. That's fine. Everything's practice. You'll improve your editing. You'll improve your sound. You'll improve being on camera and being recorded just by doing it more. Don't wait too long. Don't think you have to wait until you know everything before you get started, because the truth is you'll never know it all, and there's always something new to learn, whether it be editing thumbnails, using Premiere Pro, using OBS, getting started on Twitch. There's, depending on what games you play, you might want to use different overlays. There's always something, and there's always ways to tweak what you're doing, and there's always going to be something to be tweaked. And lastly, just remember why you started. Whether or not it was to share your passion, make people laugh, build a community, try something new, fill time as a hobby, share your hobby. When the numbers dip or you're tired and you wonder whether it's worth it, just go back to that why. And it'll remind you that it's bigger than just algorithms or subscriber counts or numbers. These are the big lessons I've learned so far. Not because I've cracked the code, but because I've lived through the struggles and I've come out the other side with a little bit of perspective, I guess. So if you're just starting on this journey and you're at one of the early steps, take it from me. I know it's not easy, but it is absolutely worth it. So what can I do by way of encouragement and use this experience to help you guys? I just want to say, don't give up. I think as simple as that sounds, if you're struggling and thinking about giving up, just don't. Just persevere. We all know what it feels like when no one's watching. Like the grind isn't worth it. Like you're just shouting into a void. Every creator you look up to, every big channel, every successful streamer, everyone you've watched, everyone you've got inspiration from, they all started from zero at some point. Just remember that. They started with 0 subs, empty chats, videos that didn't get seen. But they wouldn't have got where they were if they didn't keep going. They've pushed through the quiet nights and the low numbers and the self-doubt. Hopefully, you can be positive that your voice matters, your perspective matters, your opinion matters. You might not believe it yet, but there are people out there who will connect with your content. They'll laugh with you, they'll learn from you, and they'll just enjoy hanging out when they're watching your stream. Growth can be slow at first, unless you're extremely lucky, but slow growth is still growth. And every upload is one step forward. Every stream is one chance to improve, one chance to get some new subs, someone new that's going to find you. Every person that shows up is proof that you're building something tangible and real. So if you're sitting on the fence and wondering if it's worth it, I would say yes. Keep going. It won't be easy, but it can be worth it. So I really hope this has helped some people. And in conclusion, being a new content creator or a new streamer is basically just signing yourself up for an emotional roller coaster that no one warned you about. You'll get the dizzying highs, the crushing lows, and occasionally you might feel like throwing up somewhere in between. Here's the truth. If you stick with it, it's one of the most rewarding rides that you can take. You'll learn about yourself, you'll learn new skills, you'll research things, you'll do things you never thought you would, you'll connect with people all over the world, you'll create communities, you'll create laughter, you'll provide insights, and you'll learn just as much about yourself as you do about the tech and the programs and the software and everything else that you decide to work with. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, first of all, thank you, you're a legend. Second of all, you've now survived my roller coaster ride and me talking about what's happened in my streaming and content creation sort of journey. So congratulations. While you're here, please do me a favor, do hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you leave me a comment letting me know what your biggest struggle is or your funniest moment as a creator. Or if you're just about to start, let me know your niche, let me know what you're thinking of doing. Feel free to join our community on Discord if you're a sim racer. It just makes me feel like a lot less like I'm talking to myself if I get some comments and we can start some dialogue. Really interested. Put in the comments what your new channel is going to be, and then other people will read those comments and maybe they'll be able to jump on board. Maybe they'll be your first subscribers. Work together with people. Share your visions. Share what you want to do. Share your passion. So thanks for riding this ride with me today. I know it was a bit unscripted, and I appreciate that it was probably a bit of a ramble in places, but I hope this helps. I just wanted it to be raw, and I wanted it to be honest, and I wanted it to be genuine. So I hope that's come across in the audio. So the journey's just getting started. Hopefully you'll get on the journey, and hopefully this has helped you. I have been just another sim guy, and I will see you on my next video. Peace.